Ilion Animation Studios came to be from a vision of Ignacio Pérez, which is our CEO. He wanted to create a stable animation studio doing worldwide quality CG feature films. Planet 51, it's basically an idea of an alien planet that looks very much like US 50 suburbia, where suddenly an alien comes, which happens to be a NASA astronaut. Much to his surprise, he sees that the planet's all full of little green men, and the people in the planet are actually feeling that there may be an invasion coming, so they're both scared of each other. We were primarily a 3ds Max shop. All of our pipeline stages work with 3ds Max. I found one of the very interesting things about Max is that you can customize parts of Max if you wish. All the source they give you is shipping, production quality source code that you can use and modify to your needs. Planet 51, in the end, we had over 450 unique characters. So very early on, we started a line of development, which is try to automate as much as possible on people's day-to-day workflows. We've got tools to automatically apply our rigging solutions and in a more or less flexible way, where you choose which solution you want for different body parts, and it'll automatically apply the solutions that we've already created.
The thing that I like from Max is that, more or less the freedom you have. We have a default solution for facial animation. You have a set of shapes that are drawn in the Max viewport. Those shapes are connected to our solution of morphs. Then we link it with several formulas that people from animation, people from character suggest us. All the tools that we develop for the character department to be able to create like 300 morphs quickly. But in the end, it's a pretty simple solution.
The approach that we have for visual effects in Ilion is for some kind of effects, it was interesting to have control in other platforms. We created a team that was able to work on 3ds Max and we was able to work on Autodesk Maya. We came along with a very interesting tool called the Electro tool using Maya. We were able to create very, very fast examples with some very complex effects and being able to affect the lighting on the scene. We were doing geometry using PaintFX. We created a very interesting rig that allowed us just to select a soldier, and then we were building everything procedurally using all kinds of controls.
Since Ilion Animation Studios does belong to a holding of companies that includes Pyro Studios, which is the video game company from which the directors and the CEO also come from, very early on there was this idea of creating an original idea that would have multiple ways of exploitation. And having Pyro Studios also being part of the group, that was fairly early on, saying, well, we're going to make a video game of the movie. It just only makes sense to do it with a company that's in the same group.
When Ilion decided to go ahead with the movie, they wanted to do a game with the same quality as the movie. The great thing is we had access to absolutely everything, the script, all the graphic assets. We knew how to adapt our pipelines to Ilion as well. As Ilion is using 3ds Max and Pyro Studios is using 3ds Max, the pipeline worked very, very well because we had all the assets. So we just passed to our artists. They just reduced polygons and quality of the textures and put into the game.
When we're talking about working with the video game guys, we embedded the video game people within the film projects so that they could more or less live the day-to-day and really soaked up what would be the Planet 51 world and concepts, all the artistic vision that was in Planet 51. They were living it firsthand because we're physically here.
I think we were very happy that all the creative minds behind both projects are exactly the same, because that helped us a lot to use the same core technology. I'm talking about the pipelines, I'm talking about the software that is behind both projects. It was the same. So the game went very, very easily from a production point of view.
In a project of this magnitude, you need a partner that's really stable and you know is going to be there. And I think that's one of the key pieces that Autodesk provides, in spite of certain times of uncertainty in a global market or an industry, you have these foundations, you can lean on. It's like, well, if all else fails, these guys are there. That's actually, in a project of this size, that's really critical.